everyone, my name is Leila and I own a vintage reselling business where I offer a hand-curated selection of unique items over on the Etsy platform. If you're watching this, I am so grateful and excited to be starting this YouTube channel. I'm going to be offering vintage content, business content, hauls, hopefully some fun storytelling. So thanks so much for tuning in. For this video, we are going to talk about my very first clean out that I ever had the opportunity to do. By clean out, I mean having to clean out and take someone's entire collection of something, whether that's clothing, furniture, a combination of both, and take the entire group of it with you. So usually when you do a clean out, you make a deal with a person or property where you're doing the clean out, where you're doing the service of removing the unwanted material in exchange for either free material or super cheap material. So the biggest rule is you have to take everything. Even if there are items in the clean out that you don't want, things that you're not interested in, you still have to take them with you in order to get those few gems. In the case of this clean out, I was actually touring a home with the intent of purchasing it. I had been looking for a place to live in this area, and this house was perfect. It was the perfect location, perfect size, and perfect price for me, and I was super excited about it. The house had furniture and belongings in it, all vintage. None of it looked like it had been used for a few years, so I was already intrigued. I ended up opening the closet door in the master bedroom because I wanted to see how big it was for my own purposes. I own a lot of clothing, so I really wanted to have that nice big closet in my master bedroom. I found an entire collection of clothing in that closet. This clothing was ranging from the 50s to 80s and didn't have anything past the 80s in there, which was very interesting. With no owner, that stuff had just been sitting there. The woman who owned those clothes, her name was Laura Morrison, and she had passed away 7 years ago, and prior to that had lived in a home. And I found all this out a little bit later on. At the time, wasn't really sure how I happened upon all of that clothing altogether, but I learned about the history of this woman and the history of the home a little bit later on. But I couldn't believe that it was all right there. I ended up opening the closets in the second and third bedroom, as well as a linen closet, and found even more. I found more clothing, blankets, linens, shoes, purses, everything that you could hope to find. I ended up finding. I ended up purchasing all of the clothing and linen items as a clean out deal. I had to take everything in order to get any of the items that I really wanted, and it was around 300 pieces altogether. I had no idea what I was getting into, but I knew that I couldn't say no. If you stick around to the end of the video, I will actually tell you how much I paid for this haul and how much I've already made off of some of the items in the haul. So let's jump into a sped up portion of the video where I'm unloading this massive amount of clothing into the back of my grandmother's house. Throughout this section, I have inserted some clips of me trying on some of the amazing items that were in this haul. The first item is this gorgeous 1960s embroidered dress with really fun pleats at the front and a matching wide belt. All of Laura's dresses came with their belts, not a single one was missing, which was so cool. Often when I find vintage dresses, I'll see belt loops, but no belt. As we brought the clothes into the cabin, we sorted them into categories. There were items that I definitely wanted to keep, items that needed a deep cleaning, and items that I decided I was going to donate to a local thrift shop. The volume of clothes was definitely a bit overwhelming to me, so deciding to let go of some of the items that weren't worth much of my time as separates helped me process this massive undertaking a little bit better. Items that I chose to donate were either those that were stained or damaged in a way that I didn't feel I was equipped to deal with, but maybe someone else would be, or items that were a bit too plain or that I didn't want to spend time listing online. Almost all of the clothing except for 3 small trash bags worth made it into the keep category and was in amazing condition. This was one of my favorite finds of this haul. This is a vintage wool 4-point Hudson Bay blanket in immaculate condition. 4 points actually means that this blanket was a twin full, so a little bit bigger than a twin, but not quite full size. I ended up putting this blanket in my vintage booth at an antique mall in my area, and the sale of the blanket paid for this entire haul. At the end, I'll tell you exactly how much I sold the blanket for. This next dress is actually my favorite dress from this haul. It's a 1950s floral cotton dress with a matching leather belt. I loved this dress so much when I put it on that I decided to keep it for now because it's just so beautiful and actually fits me really well. This dress is a wool long-sleeved dress from the 60s that I love so much, mostly because Laura was a teacher for most of her career, and I can totally picture her in this dress at the front of a classroom teaching a lesson. This 60s polyester button-up is the cutest addition to your vintage outfit. The colors are so soft and the pattern is a fun floral and geometric pairing. Unloading all of the clothing from my car was a task in itself. My mom and I were exhausted after several hours of this. The day after we did this, my boyfriend actually fell through the floor under that doorway because the wood was damp, little did we know, and we had put so much wear on the boards from walking back and forth. Don't worry, we repaired the floor completely and fixed the water leak as well. This suit was so fun to find. It is a vintage Refrigiwear snowsuit, and I ended up bringing it to my vintage booth because I knew I wanted to sell it, but the thought of what it would cost to ship it was overwhelming to think about. This jacket was another one of my favorite finds. This is a cashmere mink collared coat with what I believe are Bakelite buttons. The lining on this coat and overall condition is immaculate, and I know if I don't end up keeping it myself that it'll be worth a good amount, so I'm excited to get it listed online. I loved this orange plaid Pendleton Juniors jacket as well. The patch pockets and dagger collar are so good and the color is just so unique. Pendleton is one of my favorite vintage brands, especially their wool pieces, because the quality of their vintage garments is so high and they last for a super long time. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you what I paid for this haul. I ended up paying $300 to the seller of the home for around 300 items, which means that I paid roughly $1 an item. I ended up taking the Hudson Bay blanket directly to my booth, which is pictured here over at my local antiques mall. The blanket was there for only 20 days before it sold full price for $325. After the antique mall took their cut of the sale and after my cost of goods, which was $1, I made $292 on this blanket, which basically paid for the entire haul. So that was my biggest sale yet in my business, my largest profit. And that haul from that house was my biggest investment that I've ever made in my business. So I think that shows that when you take risks and make investments for your business, when they're the right ones and smart ones, they can yield more outcome for you and your business. I wanted to add in a little more info regarding the house and what ended up happening with that tour and my interest in purchasing the home. What happened was I actually bought the house. It was a great decision. I've been really happy so far. I'm actually sitting in the house right now. It's where I live with me and my partner and our roommate. And this is one of the rooms that I renovated among many. So if you're interested in seeing the process of me renovating this house that was built in 1900, and what that was like, and pictures, videos, anything like that, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be really pleased to do a video on that type of content as well, sort of more lifestyle and home improvement, renovation type stuff as well. So if you're interested in that, drop me a comment down below so I know if you're interested in that or not. Yeah. So right before I sign off, I want to give a little wardrobe shout out to one of my favorite vintage shops over on Instagram, Vintage Shenanigans. I bought this, she's also on Etsy actually, but I bought this vintage 70s forest green long sleeve turtleneck top with gorgeous balloon sleeves, and I like to pair it under some of my 90s tank dresses, and it layers really nicely. So shout out to Vintage Shenanigans, I love my top. Go check out her page. I'll link that stuff down in the description below, actually, if you're interested in checking that out. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope that you will click the like button, click the subscribe button, and I hope to be offering more content like this in the future, so I don't want you to miss it. Click that notification bell so you can get notified when I release a new video. Thanks again, and happy holidays. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hi, Sheldon.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
How's everybody doing?
We are doing good.
Are you moving in or moving out?
You don't even want to know what's happening here. We wound up buying all the ladies' clothing.
Uh-oh.
Because I guess she
Her
passed
whole
away and
collection
doesn't need them
of
anymore.
vintage clothing.
How was your winter?
It's been good. It's
Good.
a mild one.
Yeah,
and,
that's true. We didn't really have too much mud.
No,
No.
it wasn't bad at all.
I know,
Didn't have
it's
much
really,
snow
really
either.
dry.
So you had to have the two.
Yeah.
You have the two.
Why? What you want anyway?
Second one,
Huh?
probably when we-
Good
When
thing
we
you ain't
went,
ugly.
you know,
You
we had
take
the
a leg
Johnson
right off,
Johnson
you know what?
before any problems had
Yeah.
come about. So
What's this here? You taking pictures?
we're doing
Yes, I
like
was.
a slow motion video of unpacking the car.
Oh,
This is.
I'm glad I didn't get over there.
I don't think I like it.
Now, what will you do? Sell this online? Oh.
Yeah.
What's going on with this?
Some old people will buy it.
But the young people love the old stuff. Like ugly Christmas sweaters are huge.
Yes, yes.
like a
Oh,
business.
she models it on the,
Yeah.
There's a
on the
skirt
computer.
that goes
I
with that
see.
one.
That's a cute idea. That would be more. I mean, you could really see it that way.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's neat. Yeah.
There's a look.
Good to see you
We're
guys.
too young.
Thank you for stopping.
Thanks for stopping.
Well,
It was so
we
nice
just
to see
always
you
say
guys.
hi.
Yeah.